In this town, there's no off-season. The news never stops, and neither do we. It's always game day in Cleveland with Andy Baskin and Daryl Ryder.
It is always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you by our good friends at Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. Daryl, how are you today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. How was your birthday? Did you have a good birthday?
Yeah, I mean, it was okay.
Wow, I'm not feeling a whole lot of love on your birthday.
The Browns got crushed, and I worked all day. So.
We should have a birthday libation. Mine's next week, so we'll be. I'll be older.
I just had one.
Oh, you just had your libation
right there.
Congratulations on that.
And it's Steelers week, which means
I missed that.
Loss number 9 is incoming. I have no expectation that the Browns are going to win this game. And Pittsburgh's just really, really good, and the Browns stink. So, but it would be the most Browns thing ever to actually show up on national TV and beat the Steelers, who are beating just about everyone this year. They've won 5 straight. They're 8-2. They play a lot of really ugly football, but we're
good at that. We're good at ugly football.
No, but the difference is the Steelers win ugly football. This floored me. So Tomlin's been in Pittsburgh since 2007.
Yep.
They're on their way to their 12th playoff season. And one missed the playoffs 7 times since Tomlin's been the head coach, and he's never had a losing season. They finished 500 a bunch of times, but he has never finished a season below 500. Just an absolute incredible run that he's had. And that's why when I was in the locker room on Tuesday, Andy, I spent a lot of time asking Browns players their thoughts of why the Steelers are always good, right?
What'd they say?
Consistency. That was the number one response. The same coach, same system, same style players, year in and year out. And it is, it never fails for them. It's unbelievable. Even when they're awful to watch, they still win football games. And that, for me, is the biggest difference between these two franchises. The Steelers are everything the Browns wish they could be, but never will be. And it's everything that Browns fans wish they could have. And, I think that there's a lot of envy amongst Browns fans because they, in Pittsburgh, they've got Vince Lombardi trophies and they have winning seasons every year. And Steeler fans still hates Mike Tomlin. Even, I
know. We would kill for him here, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'd kill for him.
It'll be interesting to see what happens Thursday night here. The weather's supposed to be really yucky. The first, I guess, shot of, winter to come, rain, wet, maybe some snow or sleet, temperatures in the 30s. It's supposed to be windy. So it's going to have that, quintessential AFC North feel. But hey, those are games Pittsburgh loves and tends to win. Whereas, this particular Browns team, coming off of the way they played in New Orleans, the fact that they can't score any points whatsoever, it's hard for me to feel really optimistic. And I'm reading a lot of comments, and I want to ask you about this, Andy, because
go ahead. Let's do it.
You're on 4 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm reading a lot of comments on social media how Browns fans are just completely disengaged now.
Oh, it's apathy. It is. You know what? They were on fire immediately following the game. And if you listen to the postgame show with Jeff, they wanted someone fired left and right, like sweet little old ladies calling in who normally are always like so positive about this. And man, they were like fire, fire, fire. And it's just like, I just don't know what good firing people today is going to do. Now, You do have a long layoff between a Thursday nighter and a Monday nighter. And, there are other teams. I mean, the Jets fired their general manager today.
Look, what do you know? Other franchises trying to get ahead of things and make things better. Meanwhile, the Browns, they're just going to keep doing the same crap they've been doing that doesn't work. And then tell us that they're working hard to make the corrections. And then the next week will come and we don't see any corrections.
So, Daryl, I mean, do you think that if the Browns get I think if they just play halfway decent, everyone will be okay for this, like little extended bye week. But If they get embarrassed, is it? I mean, there are people packing their bags. We got moving companies coming into Berea on Friday, or what?
Well, I don't know if you heard. I had the rant of the season on the Ken Carmen show with Anthony.
I heard the promo part of it. So go ahead.
There is a promo running.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure I heard the promo part of it.
Yeah. Because I'm of the mindset, try to do something. Like, I feel like the Browns right now, or the do something meme, where the guy's got like the stick and he's like, you poking, do something.
It's not the Spider-Man thing where everyone's blaming everybody.
No. It's not that. I want the Browns to do something to show that they're trying to get this thing moving in the right direction. I wanted Ken Dorsey fired weeks ago. I think that guy is useless. His offense sucks. It's unwatchable. It's unproductive. Okay. I want them to go back to Kevin Stefanski's offense. I will agree with you. Firing Kevin Stefanski now solves nothing. And
I don't think it solves anything. And by the way, I'm not in favor of, I'd like to see him with another quarterback that they actually want in the system, and his name is not Deshaun Watson. I'd like to see what he could do with another quarterback, because, he's had, let's face it, Jameis is throwing the ball like crazy. They just need to get in the end zone, and Flacco looked pretty good. And, Baker was pretty good too. I'm not as down on Kevin Stefanski as everybody is, but if they only win 2 games this year, it's the NFL and you're done. You're toast. Yeah.
So here's my take on the whole quarterback thing.
Okay.
They've only had like 6-7 weeks of Kevin Stefanski's prototypical dream scenario quarterback. That was Joe Flacco. And Baker was not his prototypical quarterback, but he made it work. Jacoby Brissett, not his prototypical quarterback, made it work. Deshaun Watson, whom they gave up 6 draft picks and $230 million fully guaranteed, also not a Kevin Stefanski prototypical quarterback. Hasn't been able to make that one work. And so that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like, and this is the typical Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland Browns, not putting the people that they hire in position to be successful because people above them want to make decisions. And that's why I keep talking about unless they change the way they collaborate and do things, nothing is going to change with this franchise. Absolutely nothing. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks situation and how well that's going up there, right?
Yeah.
It's no secret that once they stepped in the building, that organization went from an NBA champion to now they're in the position that they're in. Like, right. At some point, some people need to look in the mirror and realize they don't know what they don't know. And what they think they know, they really don't know. And I
what are you trying to say?
And I get it that you have you've had instances where you've let people do their job and those folks haven't done their job. And I understand that too. But I don't think that there's any case to bring Andrew Berry back next year. And I like Andrew personally. I think he's a very intelligent guy. But for me, the Deshaun Watson contract's unforgivable. It's a fireable offense.
Okay, but when it comes to that contract, I'm going to be honest. I just feel like he's the general manager of record. I mean, that deal doesn't come from a general manager's office. Oh,
well, it was signed off on, but he's the one that planted the seed. He's the one.
We're 100% on that. He's the one that said, "Let's go get him."
He was a big fan of Deshaun coming out of college.
Okay.
The other thing too is the safeties he signed aren't any good. John Johnson III wasn't.
I'll buy into all that stuff.
Not any good. Hasn't made the next impactful play that Juan Thornhill makes for the Cleveland Browns might be the first. He has done well with the patch in the defensive line. I will give him that. Jedrick Wills, that is not
Tristan Wirfs. That's all I've got to say. It just drives me nuts every time I watch Wirfs play, and I'm just like, they could have had him. All right, hang tight. I know you have more to say. I want to talk a little bit more about the Steelers game, what the crowd's going to be like, and I also want to talk about where the Browns are looking as we look ahead to the rest of the season as well. So it's always game day in Cleveland. It is always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin, continuing our conversation about the Browns, and we are brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. All right, Daryl, so what happened in Berea this week? It's a short week. They've got to turn things around. I might think that might actually be a good thing. There are only 3 home games left for the rest of the season. One is Kansas City. It looks like the Monday night game is still going to be a Monday night game. They are not going to get flexed out of that. So I'm just curious, your thoughts. Oh, and by the way, Hard Knocks is here.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing: they were all in Hard Knocks gear at the facility. That's why I posted what I did.
Wait, who was in Hard Knocks here? The people working for Hard Knocks, or
the camera crew that was there?
Okay,
on Tuesday. Actually, they were there on for NFL Films for Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
I guess the camera crews arrive next week for Hard Knocks to really begin the filming. So, but they
already have cameras in there already getting ready for this thing, right? That's what
I think that they have some stuff already installed. But I'm just saying the camera crew that was there today was there for Thursday Night Football on Prime, but they were all dressed up in the Hard Knocks gear. They had the sweatshirts or whatever.
Sure.
Their credentials said Hard Knocks on them. They had the NFL Films gear on too. So. That's coming. So I'm torn on it because obviously you want some illumination on what has caused the train wreck that is this season, right?
Right.
But at the same time, do we really want to watch the house on fire on Hard Knocks, or would you rather prefer that they just focus on the Steelers and the Ravens fighting for the division? The Bengals kind of stuck in mediocrity here.
I kind of have the feeling the only time the Browns are going to be on Hard Knocks is when they're playing against an AFC North team. I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of them in this.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're just a non-factor right now, unless they do something like the Jets did and fire their GM or fire Ken Dorsey, which I'm still begging, please fire Ken Dorsey. Just show folks you're doing something to try and fix this.
So if you think they should fire Ken Dorsey, why did they let him call the plays?
Because you know what? Can I give you my conspiracy theory?
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me.
Here's my conspiracy theory. I think there's things that were forced on Kevin Stefanski to do. So he's done them. And now he's just sitting back and saying, see, I told you so. That's my big conspiracy theory. Now, that might get him
fired.
I
told you so, but then will he be out the door if they don't win another game this season?
It might get him fired. Albert Breer was on Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin. He told them Tuesday that unless something cataclysmic happens, he doesn't foresee any changes in Cleveland. Of course, then I posted, don't dare the Browns, because if there's ever a franchise that can pull off cataclysmic, it's them. But I don't. Andrew Berry's the problem that needs to be solved here. The picking of the players, because I just don't think he's done a good job. He's done a good job in areas, but it's not good enough. This was supposed to be a 4 to 5 year window of contention that has basically been torpedoed now. And a big reason why it's torpedoed is because dudes he gave contract extensions to are not performing, and guys he has signed or traded for are not performing. He gave up a second-round pick for Elijah Moore. What a craptastic trade that turned out to be. You said Tristan Wirfs passed on him to draft Jed Wills. What a craptastic disaster that was. The Deshaun Watson situation. Again, another craptastic disaster. By the way, I don't know if you picked up, craptastic is my word of this season.
Oh, wait, no, we've heard it. We heard you. I think you said it in the promo, and Jeff's been saying it all day since you said it. So
I'm copywriting that. You should. I invented that word, craptastic. But so, as much as I like Andrew, I don't have a case to make for him to keep his job. I do with Kevin, 2-time coach of the year. He's won games. He's had 10 different quarterbacks, never really been able to do his thing, but he's made it work, made the playoffs twice in 5 years. He's only had one losing season, which is this one. Unfortunately now, because this season is so bad, he's going to fall under 500 as the Browns coach. I'm sorry. He has had a losing season before. They went 7-9 or 7-8-1 or something under him. So he's had one losing season.
All right. So let me just throw this in there, because I thought it was interesting how he answered this question today at the press conference about Mike Vrabel. And the question was, whose idea was it for Mike Vrabel to be on the sidelines? And he said both of ours. And I thought, which makes me think that Vrabel isn't long for the Browns. As soon as he can get another job somewhere else as a head coach next year, that's where he'll be.
It's all, here's what's going on. I'm going to tell you what's going on. So Vrabel's agent right now is planting seeds. That's why you've already heard Vrabel's name mentioned with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Vrabel's agent is a Cleveland-based guy, right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
And he's already been mentioned with the New Orleans Saints, right?
Right.
So the agent is probably telling Vrabel, you need to be visible somehow. So by getting him on sideline makes him visible, right?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, Kevin Stefanski really pushed to bring Mike Vrabel in. They've got a very good personal and professional relationship. And I don't think people really understand that dynamic.
That was the feeling I got today when Kevin answered the question. Like what you just said was just kind of inherent between the two of them. Because I've always thought that. And I also don't think Vrabel's like, I think Mike Vrabel's an extremely loyal guy.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think he's going to, even if they fire Kevin Stefanski, I don't think he's the next head coach of this football team.
Right.
And I know that that's going to set a segment of Browns fan off, right? Especially if Vrabel ends up going somewhere and turns the franchise around and is successful. Everyone's going to scream, he was in the building and you didn't hire him. But he's old school. He's a loyal guy. And, I remember when they brought him in, my initial thought was, they're putting plan B in place in case Kevin doesn't work out. That was my initial reaction.
I always thought Schwartz was plan B. So
I know, hang on. But what I'm getting at is then I learned, no, the reason why Schwartz there you go. You got me thinking about Schwartz.
I'm sorry.
The reason they brought Vrabel in was because of Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski wanted to bring in Mike to help him out and help the organization out. And from what I understand, not everybody initially was on board. And then once Kevin explained it, once Andrew Berry explained it, everybody got on board and said, yeah, you know what? That's a pretty smart idea. And I mean, Vrabel, you're seeing him now. Right now, you see the videos where he's working with the offensive line right now. Earlier this season, he was working with the tight ends. He was doing some special teams work in the offseason, right? I mean, he's kind of bounced around and whatnot. So the reason I think he's on the sidelines is because it's important for him via his agent to be visible somehow and look like he is involved, doing something during games with the Browns. And Kevin Stefanski is doing his friend a solid by saying, yeah, be on the sidelines with us, have the earpiece. If you got input, feel free to share it, etc. I think that there's a lot of Kevin Stefanski trying to help his friend out, more so than Mike Vrabel has got the knife in the back ready to go, or knife in the hand, I should say, ready to go in the back of Kevin Stefanski to take over as whether it's interim coach or become the next head coach.
Yeah, I just think it's all. I'm wondering what Friday is going to be like. Like, I'm wondering if there's going to be something.
I'm going to tell you what it's going to be like.
Huh?
Kevin's going to jump on Zoom around 12:30. We'll get some players as well, and that's what it's going to be, win or lose. I don't think Kevin Stefanski's getting fired Friday. I know that there's some folks in town that think that. I am not of the belief. And I know I had the rant on Monday with the morning show, and that part of that was a little bit of a bit because once I heard Ken Carman start cracking up when I was like, fire somebody, I jumped off. I was like, all right, I'm going to make him fall out of his chair now. And that's why I really, amped it, dialed it up. Little inside baseball for folks. There is a little theater of the mind in this whole radio thing that we do. Right. And there was some of that I was doing. Because again, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe firing Kevin Stefanski now or at the end of the season will solve anything. I do think he's a good coach. I have a lot of respect for him. But I feel like that.
I just don't know how they get out of it with 2 wins. And if they want to bring in another general manager, is the other general manager going to want his guy?
Yeah.
All right, we're getting ready for Pittsburgh. It is always game day in Cleveland. Thanks for listening on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcast. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. Especially watching on YouTube, we love the fact when you can dial us up and actually see what we look like. Sometimes you get off TV long enough, and the next thing you know, they tell you got a face for radio. So Daryl, that's where I'm at.
Speak for yourself, Andy. I am not the least bit pleased people can see me.
Well, at least they can see all the
If I had my druthers, it would be this. It would just be a blank piece of paper.
See ya. Daryl, so just give me your I think you kind of did give me your thoughts on Pittsburgh, but let's just kind of take a big picture view of the Browns moving forward here. So
I actually what I want to talk about is I want to talk TJ Watt v. Myles Garrett.
Oh, good. Yeah. I heard that today.
Yeah, because I looked up some numbers to kind of compare the two. It was kind of funny, TJ, as you remember, was a little butthurt that Myles was the defensive player of the year last year.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't happy. I thought his brother took the high road on that. I will tell you on that.
Yeah. So Garrett was asked to respond to that today, and Garrett kind of took the high road, but he's like, "Hey, you know what? He should feel the same way I do about when he won. Like, it's not that big of a deal."
Right.
But so here's you ready for some head-to-head numbers between the two guys?
Yeah.
So games played, and by the way, I'm just letting you know, TJ Watt basically has the advantage in all these categories. TJ Watt has played more games, 114 to 109, has more sacks, 104 to 95, more forced fumbles, 31 to 19. More fumble recoveries, 12 to 5. Pro Bowl, 6 to 5. Both have been named All Pros 5 times. Both have won a Defensive Player of the Year award. Now, I will say this. TJ Watt does not get held on every single play the way Myles Garrett does with no flags coming out.
I agree with that.
The head-to-head matchups now, okay?
Uh-huh.
So the Steelers are 9-2-1 when Watt plays against the Browns. The Browns are 4-7-1 against the Steelers.
Yeah, but you're talking about 22 guys. Keep going.
I know.
Yeah.
When they both play, are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh leads 7-2-1. So there you go. There is your head-to-head comparison statistically between TJ Watt and Myles Garrett.
Gee, thanks. But I thought he deserved it.
You know
last
what?
year.
I took time to look that stuff up.
I know, but I mean, it's depressing.
Gee, thanks for that.
Yeah, you got a G thanks because it's depressing stats. Like Phelps does this all the time. Like he digs out let's just talk about going to a funeral, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they're both great players, and again,
they're both great players, and those numbers seem similar. And if Myles plays another year past him, right, and is healthy.
Well, look, I both of them, in my view, are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Sure.
Again, I think TJ benefits because for some inexplicable reason, I mean, there are times that opponents completely forget he's on the field, and he gets these wide open sacks, right?
Yep.
Whereas again, Myles, he's being held by 2, sometimes 3 guys at a time, and there's no flags being thrown. Myles just has to kind of try and work through it. And we've seen him work through it with superhuman strength at times. So, and obviously the Steelers have the Browns are basically the Steelers B, right? I mean, let's be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, when the history of this battle started, I mean, it used to be the other way around, but there weren't many people around that are still alive right now.
Things have changed in the.
I often find myself telling Steelers fans, hey, remember your own history. And I think I quit saying that 10 years ago because they added another decade to the history, and I'm just like, can we just get through this game, please?
Yeah.
And by the way, what do you think the stadium's going to be like? It's going to be terrible towels.
It's you know what I'm calling it?
Bad weather, terrible towel night.
Here's something else of mine that's creative that you and Phelps can rip off and not credit me for. Since you've already
never do, but that's okay.
Since you've already taken craptastic from me.
Yes, I didn't. You say it.
I'm calling it the terrible towel takeover.
Oh.
That is what is going to happen Thursday night. I think that it is going to be Pittsburgh Northwest. Steeler fans are going to take over. Again, I'm judging by what I've seen on social media.
It's an easy drive to get here, especially if you live in like Cranberry and you're a Steelers fan, or all these Youngstown Steeler fans that are going to be here, or all these people that feel like, oh, I got a chance. And then let's not forget that over the last 2 decades that we've been kind of inundated by Pittsburgh-based businesses, grocery store, bank, real estate company. So I mean, and I don't really have a problem with that. If those people were born on the Monongahela, then they're Steeler fans. Knock it out.
That's fine. Is that again, by the way?
The Monongahela. You're gonna tell me I'm saying that wrong now too?
I thought it was the Monongahela, but okay.
Monongahela. Right?
Okay. I'm looking it up right now.
The Ohio and the
Allegheny.
Allegheny.
You didn't think I knew that. See? Smart ass Andy Baskin.
You grew up in Warren. You may as well. I mean, you could spit into Pittsburgh from Warren, couldn't you?
Well, I don't think I can say on this podcast what my grandma used to call Pittsburgh.
Really?
But it was called, I'll just say this, P-burg.
I
think you can figure out where it was going there, right?
Was she a Browns fan? Is that why?
No, she just, I don't think was a big fan of the city of Pittsburgh. And
it's a hard city to drive around in.
That's why I'm not a fan of Pittsburgh. You had one wrong turn and you're in West Virginia.
It's true. It's a good point. Other thoughts on the game, Daryl, as we kind of wrap things up here?
By the way, it is Monongahela. I was correct.
Oh, way to go, Corey Bjorquez.
You did it again.
I will always say that. I have no problem.
It's Bojorquez.
Bojorquez.
It's not Bjorquez.
He's probably our only All-Pro this season, isn't he?
No.
Borquez.
Incorrect. I think Denzel Ward.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Denzel, especially with the passes defended.
You know what? I think we should talk about this real quick, too.
Sure.
I don't think Denzel gets the respect from fans that he deserves. And I get it.
I don't hear him getting disrespected. People are concerned for his health. I think that's more than the.
No, well, okay. Maybe the concern for the health is how do I want to say this? Expressed through Denzel Ward sucks because he's always hurt talk.
Yeah, I don't think he sucks. I think he's kind of a quiet guy, though, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm not saying
he's not super vocal. He's not.
There's just some fans.
He's who he is. I have no problem.
And I just don't think he gets the respect he deserves. That's just me. I think he's one of the best corners in the league. He leads the NFL in pass breakups this year. It was good to see him get his first interception against New Orleans. He forced a fumble as well. He has played through injuries. The only injuries he doesn't really play through are concussions.
And what's he supposed to do? He gets taken out by the league. It's not his fault.
Right.
All right, Daryl, before we go, listen, so you said that about Denzel. Give me one thing you want to see happen on Thursday night.
The Browns win.
Outside of a win.
Outside of a win. I would like to see I would like to see Myles Garrett wreck the game for the Steelers. Just absolutely go in there and just destroy Pittsburgh's offense, single-handedly. I would love to see that because I think if that happens, the Browns got a shot to win. But I mean, since you wouldn't take my the Browns just win the game, that wasn't good enough for you.
Yeah, that wasn't good enough for me.
You wanted something more detailed, specific. Well, there you go.
No, all right, so I got two things here. There are two things. I want to see Nick Chubb get a little vengeance against Pittsburgh. I'd like to see him have a 100-yard game against the Steelers. I'd love to see that.
And you know what? By the way, Kevin Stefanski hinted this week that maybe he was saving Chubb for Pittsburgh. That's why he only got 22 snaps in that game against the Saints.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is I'm done with the celebrations after a tackle and pretending like every play the defense makes is the greatest play in the history of plays. You're a 2-win team. Respect the game. Just make a play and get right back out there. Win a couple more games, and then you can be cocky about every play you're making on defense. I understand the philosophy of saying it's special to make a big play. It's special to have a sack. It's special to make a giant. I get all that. Let your teammates come up to you and say, hey, nice job. I'm just done. You're a 2-win team. Act like it.
I can't disagree. And I thought, again, Ken Carman had a great suggestion this week.
I missed it. What was it?
They should do the Greenbrier waltz after every touchdown and big play they allow.
I'll leave it at that. For Evan O'Brien, our amazing producer, we will see you, and we'll be up late night. So if you're still up or you're driving to work on Friday morning and you need a little bit more and you want to hear the post game, we will be there because we'll record right after the game. So make sure you're listening to our special post game podcast of It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. For Evan O'Brien, our amazing producer, I think I said that once before, but I'll say it again. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. It is always Game Day in Cleveland.